EVO.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Finding Me. I'm Josh Wolf. Just a daily kind of journal slash podcast where I'm trying to hold myself accountable to be the person I want to be and refine, I think, who authentic me is. I've been thinking about doing this for a long time. This is the first thing I've ever done that's just for me. I've found that speaking directly into a camera and looking at myself and talking about difficult things has been it's been really cathartic for me. And so I'm super excited and grateful to be able to do this. I hope if this helps one person kind of reconnect with themselves or find, authentic. I'm sorry, I'm looking at Indiana. Find authentic you. Would be amazing. But I'm really doing this as an exercise for myself, and it is truly already. I'm seeing very cool gains and differences in just my day-to-day life. First, I want to tell you this, and by the way, I say it all the time, but thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so grateful for this life and to be able to do this and to have fun and make people laugh. It's so cool. But I want to tell you yesterday. So yesterday was a great day. Great day. And it was all predicated on, man, because I'm back into just really writing lists and checking things off. And I checked everything off yesterday. And there's such a good feeling when you have a list and you check, even if it's things I know I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do, I put it on the list and I check it off and I look at the things that I did accomplish that day. And when you check them off or you draw a line through them or however the fuck you want to do it, for me, it changes everything. It really does change everything. My mental outlook, how productive I am during the day, all of that stuff, my mood, mental, all of it. And I think I told you this before, but I learned this when I call it the luxury apartments. I think it's so funny that every city has like something called the luxury apartments, and you walk in and it's just a shithole. Or it's called like Shangri-La, and there's like, 4 roaches in the tub, I love the titles, but we live in a place called luxury apartments. When I was single and I lived in basically one room with the kids and all that stuff. But I learned because I was drowning. That part of my life, I was fucking drowning. I was trying to take care of the 3 kids. For part of it, I was with my ex, and it was a very stressful, tumultuous time, not just for me, but for the kids, And I started to be like, and I was still trying to live my dream as a comic. And I promised myself I was going to do 3 things for myself every day, 3 things for my career. And I would write them down and just write down the top 3 things. And I would write down however many things I did that day for myself, but I would make sure I did 3 things. And I discovered at that time, man, because my mantra during that time, because I felt like life was just pushing me, was keep your legs moving. As long as I kept my legs moving and did 3 things every day, I may not move forward, but life wasn't going to push me backwards. And so this podcast or journal, whatever we want to call it, and my rededication to my lists and writing things down this way, there are things every day where I'm like, man, I don't want to fucking do that. God, I don't want, and if it's not on the list, I don't do it. If there were things that like 3 months ago, I would have things I want to do. There's something I put on the list first day that I've been putting off for like 3 months. But it was on the list, so I did it. It's weird, I know, but like I learned in the luxury apartments that for me, it was perfection. It was exactly what I needed. I also want to remind everybody I'm not a guru. I'm not a self help dude. I'm not proclaiming to know what works for you. I can tell you what works for me. Um, with that in mind, you guys know that I tested for really high cholesterol and some blockage in arteries in my heart. And I've changed my diet entirely. No butter. I love butter. No butter, no eggs, no red meat. Bummer, bummer, bummer. Right. But I have to tell you, so a lot of fish. I feel so good, so much better. I feel so much better on this diet. Fish, vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, stuff like that, some chicken. I feel so much better. Now, for me, anyways, when I don't eat red meat, no butter, no eggs, my muscles get smaller. And I think that might be because maybe I'm not getting the same amount of protein. I don't know. I mean, I used to eat 6 eggs every morning. So, but I feel great, lighter in some way. So, and look, this is why I think longevity and wellness people and the people who are like carnivore or, just eat red meat or just grass fed butter, red meat, eat a dick. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's body responds differently to different foods. And I'll tell you something else. Everyone I've seen on the carnivore diet, those people who push it or, all red meat or they're jacked, but their faces look 20 years older than their actual age. You know what I mean? Um, I think the longevity wellness thing, the more I look into it, is a bit, not totally, because I love pushing for health, is a bit of a scam. So they're saying eat right, whole foods, things that not processed. Okay, eat right, exercise, sleep, vitamins. Duh. You're a wellness expert. You know what I mean? Look, there's something to it, and people, and I do think that there's a generation of people, younger generation, who's into wellness because wellness is so cool now. But it's not like they're pushing something crazy. Eat right, exercise, sleep, and vitamins. Gotcha. I think people have been saying that for a long time. You know what I mean? So and these motherfuckers. Look, when your life is to be in shape, yeah, it's great. How cool is that? But most people don't have that fucking time or expendable income or whatever the fuck to take 150 pills every morning or whatever David Asprey's taking. So, like, realistically, we all know exercise, eat right. And so I would tell you guys, and for those, I also think they're a bit charlatans, like, the big pharma, which is true, but also they're just pushing, they want you to buy things. Yeah, so are you, motherfucker. You have a bar or a protein powder, or and they should. Somebody sponsors your podcast, so you push them to certain creatine or whatever. So it's the same. The only difference is that most supplements or these wellness or long aren't being checked by agencies. So whatever. 6'7". I don't even know what that means. 6'7". Maybe that might be the dumbest, by the way. 6'7". I'm so glad it's over. The dumbest. Gen Alpha. I know you got a problem with Gen X. Cool. We never fucking did something stupid like 6'7". Fucking so dumb. Holy shit. But hats off for making something that doesn't mean anything trend. But you know, it's dumb. And don't come for Gen X, Gen Alpha. You're not ready for us. You're not ready for this smoke. Truly, you are not ready for this smoke. All right. That being said, I got a couple minutes to go over this next insecurity. I wonder, maybe I'll probably push it. I'll do the rest of today. And then this deserves probably its own um, entry. But look, this hat, it has become such a crutch for me. And I really did try. I went on Propecia. Okay, let's just do this. This is my goal. And look how big this forehead is. Definitely losing hair in the back. I'm losing some in the front here. But that doesn't bother me. The size of my forehead bothers me. Holy moly. But so this, I guess if I was gonna go hat off, I would get a haircut and not go slick back. Um, this is like, as far as the business goes, my business, just been a crutch for me. I really did, I went on finasteride, which is like Propecia early in life. I was losing my hair. And I started, two things happened at once. One, I started going on Chelsea lately, and they didn't want me to have my hat on. And so the first two episodes I did without a hat. And I had a pretty full head of hair. Um, and I remember after the second episode, and by the way, I absolutely love Chelsea. Zero. I like how she speaks honestly, and that stuff never hurts my feelings. But I remember after the second episode without the hat, and I know Chelsea forever, she said to me after the show, "Hey, where's your hat?" I said, "Well, they don't want me wearing a hat." She was like, "Don't worry about network. I don't like your face without the hat." And I was like, "Well, that is straight to the point." And then, my Beth and I were trying to get pregnant. Well, she was. I love it when people say we're trying to get pregnant. Not really. I'm trying to get you pregnant. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying real hard. No pun intended. But we're not trying. I'm trying to get you pregnant. You're trying to get pregnant. I love it when the dude's like, we're trying to get pregnant. Fuck off. If dudes are a man, I would definitely not try to get pregnant. That looks terrible. But we were trying to get pregnant. And so I went on. There was a lot of studies on, there have been studies on Propecia and effects on the baby and all that stuff. And we didn't want to take any chances. So I went off for a while and lost a ton of hair. And it really it affected my psyche. And there have been times where I've tried, not tried, I shouldn't say that, where I've taken my hat off and I just don't feel in the past like the same person. Not as confident on stage, very self-conscious. Um, I felt like all people, and I understand it because I've been wearing a hat for so long. All people, I felt like, oh, they're just staring at my forehead, they're staring at my hair. And so I was way too insecure about all of that to change it up. And then it got to the point where it was like, well, this is how people know me. This is how people know me. Honestly, if I don't want anyone to know, to say anything to me, or if I want to go incognito, I go hat off. Zero people, zero people recognize me without my hat on. Zero. And so um I I definitely, it was like my safety blanket. But I'm 56. I want to lose the hat. And I don't want people coming to my show and just staring at my head, you know? And I still just want to go up free. And I don't feel free yet with my hat off. I just don't. So the goal this year is to get myself to where I feel confident. I know I'm going to get ton of comments, and it doesn't have to do with the comments about keep the head on or is that an 8 head? It is. This is a big forehead. As my mom used to say, a big forehead just means, I remember I asked her one time, I go, do I have a big forehead? She was like, it just means you have a big brain. And I was like, so that's a yes? I do have a big forehead. That's mom talk for, good Lord. That is a huge forehead. A lot of brain is the nice way of saying, woo, how do you fit anything on? And here's the thing, like Goggins has made it look good, man. But Goggins has a wider jaw. I have a light bulb shaped head. If I had a wider jaw, I would feel way better about it. But I feel like the light bulb, what does Jacob call it? Mastermind? I forget. But Megamind, the Megamind shaped head, I feel just less confident. I just like it. It doesn't have anything to do with the comments. I know I would get a ton of comments. I feel less confident. I feel less like myself. But I no longer want a security blanket so I feel like myself. So I'm going to start, I think, on this podcast, just getting used to the no hat. I'll probably do it once or twice a week. Just to, I'm just staring at myself and it doesn't look like me, right? To me. So these are things that I'm just going to have to get over. Plus that tan line where my hat's laid for the last 20 years. All right, more on this tomorrow. This is Finding Me. Man, I'm just reminding myself, like I do every day, you are enough. Remember, you guys are too. There's nobody like you. You are one of fucking one. I love you. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Later.